Hey everyone, today we are going to be making cake pops. This little tutorial is the super quick and super easy version of the cake pops. It requires very little baking culinary skills. So to begin, we're going to go ahead and bake our cake according to the recipe on the box. This is just a standard cake mix. This one was a vanilla mix with a lot of pink dye. You'll see I have different shades of pink, but this what kind of cake you use in your cake pop is totally up to you. It depends on what your preference is. I had a special request from my daughter for a pink cake with red frosting, so today I'm using pink cake that was baked the night before. You'll see that it is very crumbly and kind of sticky. It is cooked all the way. However, the way I had it wrapped and like I said, sitting overnight, it did have some moisture built up in there. But it turned out okay, so no complaints there. Now what I'm doing is just cutting off the top layer of my cakes because I'm going to be using 4 layers for the cake that she requested. Now what you can do is once you bake your cake, you can take the whole cake and just throw it into a bowl. So these little pieces, these extra pieces that I'm cutting off, I'm throwing it into a bowl. I know it's kind of cut off a little bit. I am throwing it into a bowl and you'll see what we're going to do with that in a few seconds. All right, so here we are. I have my extra pieces of cake in this bowl. I have this vanilla frosting that I mixed up with my butter knife just to kind of get it a little bit softer. And I'm just showing you guys that I do have my chocolate melting. I kind of started that a little bit earlier than I needed to, but whatever, it was done and ready, just waiting for us to get to that step. Also, on a side note, I did not have lollipop sticks. I tried to get them delivered, was having trouble, but I did have these long bamboo sticks. So that is what I'm using, but I do highly recommend getting the actual like white lollipop sticks. You can get them from Amazon or any craft store, even Walmart. I just didn't plan this properly, so I'm using what I have. But back to actually making the cake pops. We're going to crumble up our cake. You don't have to be perfect with it. Just crumble it up as much as you can. Here I'm using a big heaping, about a tablespoon worth of icing. And I'm just mixing it. This reminds me so much of like kneading dough. And even when I make pie crust and how you just kind of mush it together until it becomes a ball. That is exactly what we're doing here, and almost like the same texture, everything. The little pieces come together, it mushes together. It turns out real nice. Kind of satisfying, not gonna lie. Now I will let you in on a little secret. This is the first time I've ever made cake pops, and I decided that if they didn't turn out good or adorable, whatever, that I was just gonna ditch the video. But I actually am very satisfied. I honestly ate more than the kids. Yeah, so I'll just admit it now. I'm the one that ate most of these, and they were delicious. So stay with us here. All right, but enough of that. We're getting back to business. All I'm doing here is taking a little bit, rolling it, mushing it together so it's nice and firm, or as firm as I can get it. But the important thing is rolling it into that bowl. And you'll see I left the frosting there next to the bowl. We will be using that, so it's not getting put away yet. We just need it for one more step. Now, also keep in mind, you don't have to wear gloves. I mean, I've worked in kitchens and I'm just so used to wearing gloves, especially when things are very messy like this. The crumbly part didn't bother me, but once the frosting was in there, it kind of changed the texture a little bit and it was a little bit stickier. You can see it sticking to my hand. So you don't have to wear gloves, especially if you're doing this for your own house. But this was just my preference. I decided this time I'm going to be wearing the gloves. All right, let's try to get one more. Nope, looks like we're gonna be getting 2 more. Let's see. Yep, just enough to make one more teeny tiny one. Again, talking about fancy kitchen tools, if you have a spatula, this would be the time to use it. However, I'm trying to get this done. As some of you know, we just had a little baby, so I'm trying to do this between naps. As promised, we are going to be using our rich and creamy frosting for the very next step. Now I'm taking my bamboo stick, or you're going to take your lollipop stick, whatever you're using, and I'm going to swirl it around just a little bit in the actual frosting. Next, I'm going to push it into my cake pop, and this is going to help it stay in place. You see that little bit sticking out at the top there? That is going to help the cake ball from moving, because we are going to place these in the freezer as our next step. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's kind of just get this done. But you can see because these are so moist, they're kind of moving. But this frosting is going to help seal it so that way it doesn't just flop right off. Now you're going to repeat that for each and every cake ball. Now, of course, if you have the time, you could always do different ones with different flavors, different colors, different varieties. That's the best part about these cake pops is you can decorate them however you want. There is no limitation. And of course, you could always have the little ones help you out with making these. This would be so much fun for like my older kids to decorate and come up with their own different combinations. Now stick those bad boys in the freezer for about 30 minutes, or you can leave them in the fridge for about 4 hours just to make sure they're nice and firm. For me, because mine were so soft, I wanted to definitely do the freezer method. Now this step is I am taking my melted chocolate, which yes, it is still warm. I am taking my melted chocolate and covering the entire cake ball. This is what's going to turn it into a cake pop, right? Because once this is done, we can flip them over and eat them up. The chocolate does get hard pretty quick, so I had to kind of move quick with this one. Now, of course, the video is sped up a little bit, but I am trying to go as fast as I can and get it done. Now, you can also decide if you're going to place your cake pops directly onto some wax paper like I'm doing, or you can always create something where you can stand them up. And if you're going to stand them up using the stick down, you're going to want to make sure that you definitely get all your drips off before you place them in a holder. Again, for me, this was just for my daughter, for her birthday, for our family. So I just decided instead of worrying about trying to make them perfect, I'm just laying them right on the wax paper so they will have that flat side where they're laying down. When it came time for actually storing the cake pops, I pulled the bamboo stick out and I just had the cake balls inside a Ziploc bag and kept them in my fridge. I totally forgot my daughter did ask me to put sprinkles on a couple of them. So my next step is showing you how to do that. While your chocolate is still warm on your cake pop, throw that bad boy on there. If you wait until the cake pop cools like I did, just add some more melted chocolate. And I do apologize. This is me doing this with one hand, trying to do this all. Just add some more melted chocolate and then throw your sprinkles on there. And then there you go. And it actually is a pretty cool design. Again, guys, these are so easy to make and they turn out so cute. They're perfect for any little birthday party. So please take the time to like, subscribe, and get notified. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Bye.